in a series of 4 different 9/11 panels at the Left Forum 2015. This is a first. We're very excited about it, and we've got a team of dedicated people who have stayed with it and amassed a very good set of panels for the purpose of including the message here in the whole dialogue this year of this Left Forum event. And the dialogue being that of the necessity to continue to evaluate the consequences of 9/11. Why? Because it's necessary if we're going to be redirecting our future from the trajectory that we've been on. And it's going to, this panel is going to involve looking at the consequences as well as looking at a major development that's happening on the legislative level, which we feel, many of us feel, can be a major solution to the, or a major, I would say, accomplishment in the journey that we've been on for the last 14 years to address all the anomalies and the what we feel is a grand deception about the events of 9/11. So we'll be talking again about some details about the consequences of this aftermath that we've been subjected to for the last 14 years, and a major development that's happening on the legislative level. You can see this. Here's a list of some of these consequences. Wars for empire.
Yes, it would be nice.
The Patriot Act. Does anybody not know the stated agenda that was laid out by the Project for a New American Century in their document called Rebuilding America's Defenses? Does anybody not know of this? Okay. Okay.
We got the choir here.
Yeah. Well, we have the choir, but it's good to know that this information has really been disseminated. The main phrase here is the need for catastrophic catalyzing event like a new Pearl Harbor to justify the agenda by Project for a New American Century to, in their words, to transform our military. And so one of the very, very clear consequences of 9/11 is how much do we spend every year as a result of 9/11 on the military? I think the U.S. outspends all other nations combined.
Yeah.
Okay. Devastating consequences. The Patriot Act. And let's touch on this later, because does everybody know that the Patriot Act is up for renewal, right, June 1st, tomorrow? And there's some pretty interesting developments there. And what's been, I think, very, very positive to see that it hasn't just been a shoo-in, it hasn't just been a rubber stamp, there's been a challenge. So there's kind of a revolt going on there in Congress over the continuation of the Patriot Act. The surveillance state, torture policy. I'm just going to read through these. The bulk data collection that's been going on, which is, I hope everybody's watching this. It's very, very Orwellian, and with the technology that's being used, it's just all invasive. And again, full spectrum dominance, which is the term that Project for a New American Century used. And if we just look back over the last 14 years, full spectrum dominance means having the most powerful military where no other nation could even dare to rival us. Also means the militarization of space. It means also the militarization of the U.S. within our own borders. It's full spectrum. This is exactly what we've witnessed. It should be clearer than ever. The clash of cultures. There was a panel yesterday on the dangerous development of Islamophobia. This is what I'm referring to here in the clash of cultures and what we see going on in the Middle East now with ISIS and the attempt to set up a caliphate and the threat that that all represents to the rest of the world, and the intersectarian rivalries going on. There's just a clash of cultures that's all been unleashed here as a result of 9/11. The militarization of the police at home couldn't be more clear over the last couple of years here, where the police are driving Humvees and other military vehicles, have tanks and sophisticated hardware, military hardware, all is a surplus thanks to the ratcheting up of military output. And so our own police departments are now looking like occupying forces. Economic decline. Right? When $4 trillion are spent on military pursuits, and that's according to Joseph Stiglitz, economist, $4 trillion that could have been used for building our own infrastructure, for education, for healthcare, for all other domestic uses. This is a cost that is it's just devastating to the general American public. Crackdown on whistleblowers. We've seen this continued fashion here, where the most recent one being where John Risen, right, James Risen, journalist, getting threatened with jail time for his book, State of War.
Pay any price.
And any price, that's one of his books, and I think his previous book where he included this information by, it was almost inadvertent, by a CIA agent over the plot to give Iran faulty nuclear development plans. And so that's just the latest one here, but you know, that's a whole topic in and of itself. We have reports by Tom Drake and William Binney and others, Russell Tice, and of course, Snowden, Edward Snowden, and his whole experience. So the list just goes on and on. It's a dangerous, dangerous, situation for anybody within government wanting to blow the whistle on corrupt and criminal activities. Censorship of the media. I'll leave that to the gentleman next to me to address for sure, and you're welcome to address as many others as you'd like here. Also, growth of domination by the corporations. I mean, Trans-Pacific Partnership, they're able to operate and move forward in secrecy, which is all part of the systemic infrastructure of government. And what they are doing is instituting laws, right, where any challenge to their bottom line, where protesters have been, they can and have been accused of being terrorists. If you protest corporations, whether it's the agricultural corporations, the meat industry, of course, fracking industry, you're at the threat of being labeled terrorist. It's all part of the atmosphere of the aftermath of 9/11. The constant fear campaign. Remember all of the releases of tapes saying, oh, Bin Laden has released such and such information, and it's like every 6 months there will be a release of some tape. It just, whatever it is, it's a constant way to keep the American public in a state of tension and anxiety. And since the rise of the latest, quote, brand of terrorists, according to Sybil Edmonds, it used to be Al-Qaeda, right, for many years, and then they come up with this, that, and the other organization, now, of course, ISIS. It's just a constant fear campaign where anybody watching mainstream news, they're telling us there's the threat of another, quote, 9/11-like attack. Then what we have here is the evisceration of the rule of law, whereby